D12, an initialism for the Dirty Dozen, is an American hip-hop group from Detroit, Michigan. D12 has had chart-topping albums in the United States, United Kingdom, and Australia. D12 was formed in 1996, and achieved mainstream success after Eminem rose to international fame. D12 released the album Devil's Night in 2001 and D12 World in 2004, spawning numerous hits such as Fight Music, Purple Pills, My Band, How Come, and Shit on You throughout that period. Since 2006, Eminem's hiatus and the death of the member Proof resulted in them being less active in subsequent years. History, early career. In order to make up the dozen, it was decided the 6 members at the time would each create an alter ego. Proof's was Dirty Harry, Bizarre's was Peter S. Bizarre, Q-Neva's was HANNZG, Carnatus's was Mr. Porter, BUGZ was Robert Beck, and Eminem created the famous character Slim Shady. In 1997, they released their debut album, The Underground EP, which was recorded between 1996 and 1997. In 1997 and through 1998, its members began establishing reputations locally. Bizarre was named Inner City Entertainment's Flavor of the Week, and went on to release an album called Attack of the Weirdos. Along with Eminem, Rah Digga and Young Z, he became an honorary member of the Outsiders. Proof won a freestyling competition run by The Source. In 1999, BUGZ released an EP called These Streets EP, and made several appearances on other rappers' songs. D12 went through many changes during the early days, even becoming temporarily inactive when, after being heard by Dr. Dre, Eminem left to pursue a solo career. Around the time of Eminem's first record deal, Proof attempted to bring new life to D12. He managed to recruit local Detroit hip-hop duo Dow Brigade, which was composed of Q-Neva, a local MC, and D-Norn Porter, a longtime friend of Eminem and Proof. At the time, Porter was the group's producer and later produced Eminem's first album Infinite, but was persuaded by his partner Q-Neva to join him in the group as an artist. Later the group was joined by BUGZ, and needing one more member, BUGZ introduced his longtime friend Swift, who at the time was a member of rap duo Da Rabbies. Death of BUGZ. Before a show in Detroit, BUGZ attended a picnic where an argument with a man over a water pistol escalated into a fight. The man went to his SUV and retrieved a firearm, which he fired in BUGZ direction. BUGZ was shot 4 times and was hit by the assailant's vehicle as the suspect fled the scene. The attack, on May 21, 1999, was captured on video and aired later that day on local news. Members of the group were shaken by the tragedy, darkening the mood within the collective. One of BUGZ's final acts had been a request that Swift join the group. Following the death of BUGZ, Eminem volunteered as replacement to fulfill the group's forthcoming obligations. This led to Eminem eventually rejoining the group. At the time of his death, BUGZ was working on his first solo album, Mr. Obnoxious, which was ultimately released posthumously in February 2000. D12 recorded their debut album, Devil's Night, in his memory. Eminem's third album, the Marshall Mathers LP, is also dedicated to him. The track Good Die Young, released on D12's second album, D12 World, is about BUGZ. The album also includes a song titled BUGZ 97, which is a 1997 recording originally from the song Desperados. Devil's Night and D12 World, their debut album, Devil's Night, referring to the tradition of setting unoccupied buildings on fire the night before Halloween, was released in June 2001. It debuted at number 1 on the US and number 2 on the UK chart, also reaching the top of the Canadian charts. Devil's Night went on to sell 4 million albums worldwide and 2 million in the US. In August 2001, D12 and Esham kicked off the Warped Tour after members of the group allegedly physically attacked Esham over the lyrics of his song Chemical Imbalance, which contained a reference to Eminem's daughter. Eminem was not present during the tour. The group's second album was D12 World, released on April 27, 2004, featuring production by Dr. Dre, Eminem, Mr. Porter and Kanye West, and guest appearances by Obi Trice on the track Loyalty, and Be Real of Cypress Hill on the track American Psycho 2. It debuted at the top of the US, UK, and Australian albums charts, and number 2 in Germany, selling over 500,000 records in its first week of release in the US alone. My Band, the album's first single, was also successful, reaching number 1 in Australia, New Zealand and the US Rhythmic Top 40, the top 5 in the UK and Germany, and the top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100. The group appear in the 2005 film The Longest Yard, credited as basketball convicts. For the movie, the group recorded the song My Ballz for The Longest Yard. Although Eminem was the only D12 member not to appear in the movie, he does perform the chorus and a verse in My Ballz. The group was often overshadowed by Eminem's massive success, and toured without him for the second album while Eminem was busy recording Encore. Although shadowed by Eminem's success, other members Bizarre and Proof managed to prevail with mildly successful solo careers with the releases of Handicap Circus and Searching for Jerry Garcia in 2005. D12 appeared on Tech N9ne's 2002 album entitled Absolute Power on the track She Devil. They also decided that Eminem would not be as prominent on their upcoming third album, which remains evident even after Proof's death. Their third album is estimated to be 70% completed without any input from Eminem. However, in June 2009, Eminem confirmed he was also working hard on the group's third studio album on an announcement made on Rap City during an interview with Eminem and Dean Porter. The group recorded a song for Eminem's album Recovery titled Hit Me With Your Best Shot, but it was not featured on the official album. Death of Proof. On April 11, 2006, Proof died from a gunshot wound at a club in Detroit, after allegedly fatally shooting Keith Bender, Jr., following an argument over a game of pool. Proof was then shot by the bouncer Mario Etheridge, Bender's cousin. He was pronounced dead on arrival at St. John Health's Conakry campus shortly thereafter. He was buried on April 19 in the Fellowship Chapel, Detroit, to a full house of 2,660 with thousands mourning outside. Swift was arrested in Novi, Michigan on April 21, 2006, after failing to appear in court. It was due to his attendance as an honorary pallbearer at the funeral of group member Proof. Already on probation for a DUI offense, for which he had served 2 days in October 2005, he was sentenced by District Court Judge Brian McKenzie to 93 days in jail for violating the terms of the probation. It resulted in the stalling of recording for D12's third album. Following his release, work commenced on the album. Mixtapes and Hiatus. On May 21, 2008, after 4 years of inactivity and the passing of Proof, D12 released a new mixtape, Return of the Dozen Volume 1. The mixtape was designed to get D12 back on their feet, in preparation for new possible content. The mixtape lacked appearance from Eminem. It contains several guest features from rappers such as Royce da 5 9 Inches and King Gordy. Some tracks were solo performances from a D12 member, such as If You Want It by Q-Neva, in a similar way to how Eminem performed Girls from Devil's Night. D12 released their mixtape Return of the Dozen Volume 2 on April 12, 2011, which featured Fuzz Scooter. Fuzz Scooter was one of the original members of D12 but left in 1999. He then later joined back with D12 on April 7, 2011. Eminem was only present on one track throughout the whole mixtape, though he wasn't present at all in the previous one. Due to Eminem being on tour for his album Recovery and because of Mr. Porter being his current hype man, there were 4 active members of D12 at the time. The others, while not currently active, were still members of D12. In a video posted on YouTube by Eminem and Royce da 5 9 Inches on June 13, 2011, Eminem stated that he was back in the studio with D12 after not being a very active member for nearly 3 years. D12 performed at the Can Roxas Music Festival on August 5, 2011. The track, Outro, off the Return of the Dozen Volume 2 mixtape, had a music video released on September 1, 2011, though the video did not feature either Eminem or Mr. Porter. The group also stated intentions to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the release of the Devil's Night album. though the celebration was held on the actual Devil's Night on October 30 in St. Andrews Hall in Detroit, Michigan, even though the album was released months earlier on June 19, 2001. In 2012, Bizarre left the group, citing creative differences. That same year, March 24, Mr. Porter announced that he had left D12 via a series of tweets. In the Twitter posts, he said that he wanted to focus on being a solo artist, but clarified that holds no animosity toward other members of the group. The group now currently has only 4 members. While promoting his recent mixtape, Kuniva was interviewed in August 2012 about the group's status. He replied that it's not over, we're still coming. He went on to state that D12 had been back in the studio as a whole. Former D12 member Mr. Porter was asked on Twitter on January 26, 2013 about a possible new D12 album. He responded, "Not happening bro, sorry," clarifying that he would not appear on the album. Third album. In January 2014, Mark Bass of the Bass Brothers confirmed that D12 had been recently recording at the FBT studio and he had been mixing their recorded material. He also confirmed that Eminem was featured on at least 3 songs that had been completed. In February 2014, Bizarre confirmed that he was back in the group and that D12 would be releasing their 3rd studio album during 2014. Feuds, Natas. A rivalry with a fellow Detroit-based group known as Natas began in the late 1990s, when D12 opened for Lil' Kim at her Detroit show. It is alleged that Natas band member Esham Smith was attacked by a group of D12 associates after he was invited on stage and subsequently outperformed them. Initially, D12 member Eminem was on good terms with Natas, but the two had a falling out when he criticized Esham's second album. In speaking with Murder Dog, Esham responded to D12 calling them the Village People a rap, Eminem a super bitch, and making reference to Eminem's daughter, Haley, being in a coma on the track Chemical Imbalance. D12, in turn, responded with the song Instigator, dissing Natas, while Proof made 2 diss tracks aimed specifically at Esham, Every Sucker Has a Moment, and Huh, though the latter was not released. Both sides tried to make amends prior to joining the Warped Tour 2001. However, a fight was provoked after Esham allegedly threw items at D12's tour bus. Smith sustained a broken nose, bruised eardrum, a temporary loss of hearing, and multiple cuts and bruises according to his label's spokeswoman. Natas member Mastamin sustained multiple cuts and bruises. Both groups were removed from the Warped Tour lineup, and banned from ever performing at the festival again. Royce da 5'9 inches. When first signed to Aftermath Entertainment, Eminem was not on good terms with the rest of D12, causing him to initially only focus on furthering the career of his Bad Meets Evil bandmate Royce da 5'9. Royce performed on Eminem's first solo album The Slim Shady LP, and acted as his hyperman for the first weeks of his Da Copyright Bar tour. Eminem eventually reconciled with D12, and also began giving time to establishing their career. This caused a number of projects Royce had planned with Eminem to be postponed indefinitely. In protest, he resigned as Eminem's hyperman, with the position being taken up by Proof. D12 saw this as a betrayal to Eminem, as the resignation came at the awkward time of halfway through his first tour. This resulted in an immediate falling out between Royce da 5'9 inches and D12, with a drawn-out, public rivalry between the rapper and 5 of the 6 members ensuing. Royce released 3 diss tracks aimed at the group. The first diss track, Shit on You, was recorded over the instrumental of D12's Shit on You, and mainly attacked group member Bizarre. Malcolm X was the second diss track, which featured copyright Little D12 responded with Smackdown, which was recorded over 50 Cent's Back Down instrumental. Proof also recorded a diss track entitled Many Men. This was recorded over 50 Cent's Many Men instrumental. Proof later released another diss with the Purple Gang called Beef Is Over. Royce responded with his third diss track, which was recorded over 50 Cent's and Da Club instrumental titled Death Day. In the summer of 2003, D12 member Proof confronted Royce da 5'9 inches outside a club in Detroit. Violence erupted between the rapper's entourage, leading to the police being called, and Proof and Royce's arrest. The two were detained overnight in adjacent cells where they talked out their differences and ended the feud. A few years later Royce would feature on D12's mixtape, Return of the Dozen, as well as on the lineup of their following tour of Europe and Canada. Cannabis. During the time Eminem and Mr. Porter started recording Recovery, the rest of D12 were featured on a diss track directed at Eminem with rapper Cannabis on his record Melatonin Magic titled Airstrike. Cannabis had previously been involved in a feud with Eminem. Cannabis name-dropped Eminem's longtime deceased friend Proof, saying if Proof was alive he'd be dying inside. D12 member Swift responded to the record publicly, and had the following to say about DZK: "He asked us to do a track with him when he already was teamed up with Cannabis without us knowing. They dissed M, took our verses and added them to the song so they can bring traffic and make it seem like we turning on M. As a desperate attempt to be heard after ducking and dodging M for 7 years. It was a straight-ho move." Members. Current members: Eminem, Q-Neva, Bizarre, Fuzz Scooter, Swifty McVeigh. Former members: Bugz, Proof, Mr. Porter. Discography: 2001, Devil's Night, 2004, D12 World, 2014, TBA. References. External links. Official website, D12World.com, D12 on MySpace.